call this meeting to order. Town of Ayer, Zoning Board of Appeals, Wednesday, August 19, 2015, open session meeting. First order of business, I'd like to amend the agenda to include a discussion pertaining to home occupancy permits.
Home occupation.
Occupation permits, excuse me.
Yeah.
Home occupation permits. Do I have a motion?
I move to accept the agenda as amended.
I second.
All
All
in
in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, could we have introductions? We got a new member?
Yes, sir. Our new member, Mr. John Ellis, first time.
Hi, John. I'm Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Carly.
Sorry.
Charlie?
Jeremy, you know me, of course. Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Michael.
Mike,
Hi, Mike.
nice to meet you.
Thank you. First order of business is a public hearing for an application for variance for Ayer 22 LLC.
Would you like me to read the first legal notice?
Sure, go ahead.
Let's see. Town of Ayer Zoning Board of Appeals Public Hearing Notice. The Ayer ZBA will conduct a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, August 19th, 2015, at the Ayer Town Hall, located at 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, regarding the application by Ayer 22 LLC, 22 Fitchburg Road, Ayer, Mass. 01432. Applicant seeks a variance from Ayer zoning bylaw section 8.4.1, height of sign, seeking 18 foot 11 inches where 15 foot is allowed, and for square footage of sign, seeking square footage not to exceed 98 square feet where 40 square feet is allowed. Advertised July 31st and August 7th, 2015, in the Ayer Public Spirit.
Do we have a representative?
Yep. My name is Brent Heinzer. I'm the architect for the project.
All right, sir.
And
Like that?
not a problem. Yeah,
There we go. Okay.
perfect. So that's where this is for the new home of Shop and Save. And the purpose here, as stated before, was for relief from section 8.4.1 of the Ayer zoning bylaws for signage on a building, the maximum height and the sign area that we are requiring. One of the major design criteria for this addition was repositioning this property and getting some street presence, even though this building sits from the center of street 270 plus feet away, which is driven the height of the building, the elevations of windows, all of that stuff has been driven by that perspective. That also has dictated, as an industry standard, the size of signs and the visibility of letters from that distance. So that's kind of driven the actual physical size of this sign, and that's why we're here to request a variance to allow that to happen and keep this visible from the road instead of looking out of proportion, and give us some presence there.
So I was going to ask how you determine what size, when you said you had to determine the size based on the setback from the road, how did you come up with that conclusion?
There's an industry standard, actually, if you want, I actually printed this out from a sign manufacturer. They use for letters of signs and the visibility of those letters from a distance. I'd like to share that out.
There you go.
Thank you.
And then, obviously, discussions with the sign company on what their suggestion would be based on those figures to what would look appropriate in proportion to the size of the elevation.
Right, you don't want it
Also-
overwhelming.
Right. Right, and we also don't want it to look, the original one we had met the criteria of the size of the sign, the 40 square feet. It literally barely covered one of the windows. It was very, very small. And it just didn't work for that visibility from the road and to try to give us that street presence. You know, it sits fairly far back from the road, so.
Did this go through site plan review or did it go to the planning board?
I believe we did come in for a review. I don't
Yes.
remember if it was site, was it site
Yes,
plan?
you had site plan
review,
review, yes.
yeah.
This sign was not,
Was not part of it.
Represented.
Right.
Okay, that was my
Yeah.
next question,
Yeah.
because if it did, how did we get to this point? I mean,
How did we get here?
yeah.
Dave called me and said, I was looking at the plans and your sign is bigger than what meets our requirement. Or it was the sign sits too high is what was really the requirement, because I had designed it with it meeting your square footage requirement. Talking to the sign people, knowing we had to go for a variance for the physical height of the sign, and looking at what the industry standards would be for the distance from a road, how big those signs would be for visibility, what those minimum sizes would be. It was suggested that the sign needs to be bigger, and that's what's depicted here in these drawings. And what's on the lower end is the size of what was originally there for the Hannaford sign. Outside of the Hannaford logo, to the left, there was a Hannaford logo, which I did not have access to add to this drawing. So we're comparable, even though a little bit smaller than what that original sign was that was there.
Just higher up because of the alteration you did to the front of the building.
Correct. And if you look at what we did with the alteration of that building, if I was to try to meet that 15-foot mark, I'd have to lower all of those windows, put the whole building out of scale to what we're trying to present there. So that was one of the reasons that drove us up.
Is this the only sign you're going to have, or do you plan on using the street sign as well?
We are
planning on the street sign as well, but that will be utilizing what was already there.
Any public input? Anyone here to speak for or against? All right. Board members, any discussion?
You say you have another,
Go ahead, Jim. No.
you say you have another sign in mind? And
Just the pylon sign out at the street. They're just going to be updating the panel in the sign itself. The sign will not be changing. The sign itself won't be changing. It'll just be the panel for the tenant name.
And how's that sign, how is this sign, how is that sign illuminated?
How is it? What? I'm
How
sorry.
is it illuminated?
They have the sign at the street is separate metered that has light panels behind it, and this one will be channel lettered on a raceway, and it's all the sign on the facade itself will be all LED lighted.
I guess I don't understand what that means. So,
there'll be, these channel letters
okay,
are internally lit.
Okay.
all right, thank you.
How they are, they're internally lit, that's it.
Just
probably,
another-
I'm sorry, I think that's similar to what it used to be, pretty much, right? Lit letters, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you say was the distance between the curb and the
From the center of road to the addition is approximately 271 feet, plus or minus. From the edge of pavement to, what did we just say, 220? Yeah, 221.
yeah, 60, 70, so halfway between those.
Yeah.
So it's under the recommended size.
It's under the.
By
rec-
this,
Right.
Yes, by that.
by this
Correct.
standard you said.
Correct.
And where does this standard come from?
It is just an industry standard. I don't think it's anything beyond that. It's what any sign company is using, verified with a couple of different sign companies, what they have for, what they go for their letter and visibility charts.
I have no more questions.
I'll entertain a motion to vote.
I'll move that we grant, let me just get back to legal. throw the legal notice up there?
Yep.
I move that we grant to Ayer 22 LLC variances as detailed in the public hearing notice.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Passes.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you very much for your time.
When are you going to open?
We just we did just speak with Hannaford, who will still be wholesaling, the owner, construction, and ourselves, Geronimo Properties. This morning we had a conference call. We are pushing the opening date to the 15th of October.
October, okay.
Yes. Yep.
All right, time for Halloween, that's all
Too
right.
far off.
Okay, great,
And that'll be the soft opening. We'll have a grand opening within a week
Okay.
or two after that.
super,
Yeah.
great, we're excited.
Thank you very much.
Take care. I'll entertain a motion to close this hearing.
I move that we close the hearing for Ayer 22 LLC.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing's closed. Town of Ayer Zoning Board of Appeals, public hearing notice. Ayer ZBA will conduct a public hearing at 7:10 PM on Wednesday, August 19th, 2015, at the Ayer Town Hall located 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, regarding the application by John Horgan, 41 Nashua Street, Ayer, Mass. Applicant seeks a variance to construct an accessory structure, carport, located over existing driveway but closer to frontage than primary structure on side street. Applicant also seeks to move structure immediately adjacent to existing stone wall.
Good evening.
Gentlemen.
We're here again.
Yeah, we are here.
Deja vu.
Deja vu, yes, except my partner Bruce is not here. Instead, it's me. I'm Cal Bowles
No.
from GPR,
That's it.
Billiards Cafe.
What are we doing?
What we're doing is, originally the garage, we told you, going to be right up against the stone wall.
Right.
Okay? Well, right up against the stone wall is a foot closer to the property line, 8/10 of a foot closer to the property line than what we had asked for. Our surveyor didn't understand exactly what was being requested. Bruce did when he came and presented it to you. But then when we went and staked it out in the field, the posts were a foot off of the wall and a foot into the lawn on the other side. For where the foot and a half, for where the carport was going to be located, which the obvious problem is now you're going to have a post that's further sticking out from the edge of the driveway. Anybody pulling in who's used to parking in a certain spot is now going to have to avoid that, and you'll end up hitting it, guaranteed. So Mr. Horgan asked that we correct that and come back and ask for what we really need, which instead of, I think, 4.2 feet off the property line, we're going to end up being about 3 feet off the property line on that side. But the intent is still what we told
So you're on
you.
the wrong side of the wall now. You're on the lawn side of the wall instead of the driveway side. Because when you were here before, you were sinking the post in the driveway side
So
of the wall.
that's still what we want to do. We still want to put, we have the wall right here. We want to put the posts. Sorry. Pretty slick.
Hey,
yeah.
you can't make that.
It won't go bigger?
No.
So I'll go this way. Here's the wall. Here's the driveway. We
Yeah,
had
I saw
al-
the drawing, yeah.
we had always wanted to put the posts right up against the wall.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
But if we go 4 foot 2 inches or whatever it is we asked for, the post is here. And then the other one is in the lawn. So the whole thing is shifted too far out that way. You know what I'm saying?
So it was a surveying issue?
It was a communication issue. So if we have, and Mr. Horgan's actually got pictures of the stakes that we put in for where the posts are gonna go.
This part. See, I wanted up against the wall, when they staked it out, this came out here to be about 18 inches.
I see.
And
Because when we talked about it before, we thought the post was abutting the wall.
And that's exactly what we wanna do.
that's what we wanted to do.
We
and
wanna
that's what they
slide over
said.
to about the
But
wall.
when they
The problem
staked it out,
is, when-
apparently the stone wall is not lined up exactly with the house. The stone wall, kind of, you can see, it curves out a little bit. This is closer.
So the markers from the surveyor are the 4 foot?
yes, they reflect what you granted last time. In
But
those
what
pictures.
you want to do is move it a foot or so closer to the
get
property
it, to get
line.
it right up to the,
Right.
I get it, all
And
right.
here it would be on the other side. See,
Yeah.
it's saying now we want it.
Yeah, well, of
in
course,
here.
yeah, it would be, because
Right,
if you
exactly.
moved it, you shifted the whole thing
so
over.
basically, we asked for the right thing, but we put the wrong number in, is what it was then.
But that, okay.
So instead of within your 5-foot setback, we were gonna be within it by a little less than a foot, now we're gonna be within it by 2 feet. So with the distance to the property line now we're asking for is an even 3 feet. The post is actually gonna be between 3.1 and 3.3 feet, but just to make it clear and simple, we asked for 3 feet now for the variance off the property line instead of 4.2 feet.
I understand now, you, Ron? I don't know if you heard that.
No, I wasn't here, so has something been approved in this already?
Yes, we did, yeah. We,
All right,
we
so
approved it
that's-
originally,
Whatever.
and we went by those dimensions.
Yeah, just the dimensions changed. yeah.
The dimension changed, but it will impact the abutter
Who are here?
who are here.
It will pull it a foot closer to that property line.
Foot and a half.
Foot and a half. But, I mean, if you're out there and you look at it, and you say we're gonna be right up against the stone wall, that is still exactly correct. If anybody was looking at it and said, okay, they're gonna see it right in the stone wall, that's what we're asking for tonight.
You following what we're doing, John?
Yeah, I think you're right down here in this corner.
Yeah, exactly,
Oh,
that's
okay.
exactly right.
Yeah, okay.
When they were in here the first time, we thought that the property line, or the center line of the posts were gonna be abutted to the wall.
Correct.
But when they laid it out a foot and a half away, and that's where the measurements come from. The variance we gave had specific dimensions on it.
Right.
So when they figured out this is wrong, now they're back again. But
Correct.
I think we need to hear from the abutters.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
This is Paul Farley, I'm the butter on the other side. Went along with this the first time around.
Yes, sir?
We're back again to do the same thing because there was a mistake made in the measurements.
Yes, sir.
To pull it over and stick it next to a wall that you have no idea what the measurements are is rather arbitrary, in my opinion. Especially when somebody says the wall's a little crooked at that part, right? We're talking a very minuscule amount. But what bothers me is that if the wall is off and the measurements were off, I'd like to see measurements that coincide with exactly where that's going to be. That's what I'd like to see. It's in the bottom.
I believe
I think we've got that.
you have those.
Right.
Do you have a copy of them, sir?
I have a copy, and everything's fine until you pull it over to the wall and stick it there. If that wall is crooked, as we said, it's plus or minus maybe, but as a abutter, I would like to have something that says this is it, not a foot inside, not 3 inches into the wall.
I would think, correct me if I'm wrong, I would think the alignment of the wall is somewhat arbitrary. More importantly is the distance to the center line of those posts from the property line. I mean, even if the wall's crooked, that's really irrelevant to the post center lines.
Right.
Those are based off the property line, and that's what I'd be more concerned about, and rather than it in relation to the wall itself.
Something did cross my mind when I was thinking about this, is that the line came in not what they wanted, as was explained, it's an oversight. What if the property line isn't where it's supposed to be?
Well, we've surveyed it, so we have confidence the property line is exactly where it's supposed to be.
Within a foot?
No. That's where it's supposed to be.
I would just like to see something, rather than saying next to the wall.
We will, we're putting a dimension on it.
When we gave the last variance, we gave specific dimensions and specific structural requirements. for that variance. That won't change. The only thing that they're proposing to change is the distance from your property line to those posts.
By how much again?
Looks like 18 inches, what I understand.
18 and a half, I think it was like 5 inches before.
Before, no,
Now
it was,
it's, 2 feet.
it was
It's 4.5 feet.
4.2 feet or
Right.
something like that before.
Now it's 3.
And now it's 3, so it's 1.2 feet.
But some of, another question, the variance that's existing right now,
Yes, sir?
is that null and void?
As, at this moment, no, it's still in effect because we haven't changed it.
That's the process that's planned? is to
Yes, sir.
change
Yes.
it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Because right now, if we don't allow them to change it again, and they go forward with the posts are gonna be 18 inches off. They're gonna be
Plus another 6 inches for this.
over in the, the whole thing is shifted.
So it'd be 24 inches out into the driveway.
Yes, sir. The carport is shifted over because the surveyor put the wrong line out for the footprint of the shed, of the carport.
I
That's,
think the surveyor lined it up with the back of the house, whereas the stone wall, I don't think it's fair to say the stone wall is crooked.
It
I
just
think
doesn't parallel.
Well,
it's fair to
it's-
say
it's-
it probably glances off a bit coming down, so that on the summit end of the stone wall, it's closer to the property line than up on the northern end. Because the stone wall isn't lined up perfectly with the back of the house.
most are not.
I built it.
Yes, sir.
For whatever, the stone wall is not perfectly straight side. That stone wall is not perfectly aligned parallel with the side.
That's
With the
correct.
That's correct.
That's not right.
That's
Okay.
correct, yeah.
My concern is that I want the specifications in the variance, that's all. If that happens, I'm happy.
We did that. We did it last time and we'll do it again.
Thank you.
Great.
Does this plot plan then represent
Original, no.
so this is the way it's going to be constructed? This will go in with whatever decision
Yes,
comes tonight, and this will be the one you will abide by.
absolutely.
Because you'll have to re-record it with the registry. Did you record the last one?
I'm not sure if we got that far, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah,
I
so,
got the notice from the.
So it'll just be this one.
I didn't record it because I knew this area.
Okay.
right, exactly. So technically, that old one's, it's not recorded at the registry of deeds yet.
No,
So it
but
doesn't-
we had to record
Until
it.
you record it, it really doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
There you go.
Right,
Yeah.
so.
Questions? Comments? Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the new variance as detailed in the public hearing notice.
Second.
Any discussion?
With stipulations, the variance will have the dimensions from the property line to the carport, setback from the road, and the stipulation that it will not become a garage. It is a carport forever. You're not gonna change it to a garage. That's the same thing we had last time.
Right.
Well, I thought it could be carport or garage. I thought
No,
it could be converted into a garage, but not any
No
livable
livable space.
space.
No livable
Yeah.
space.
yes,
Yeah.
correct.
That's
That's the way we worded it last time, and I want that to stay in effect.
Okay.
So it could become a garage at some point.
Could be.
But it's not gonna be livable.
Not
Be
livable
walled,
space.
but not livable.
Yes,
I think
correct.
is where we ended it.
Acceptable? Good.
So, when you vote?
All, yeah, excuse me, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Vote carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry to put you all out.
No. This is the last time, right?
That's
Well,
the-
you won't see
that's
me
the-
here again. That way.
Thank you very much.
Like to, someone make a motion to close the hearing?
I move that we close the hearing on 41 Nashua Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Right, and that's to like file it, but I should be able to file it this for the clerk, then it starts the 20-day clock.
So I can't do anything.
Just play
Then I
it.
can go get the permit.
That's right. You got it.
All right, sir. Town of Ayer Zoning Board of Appeals Public Hearing Notice. The Ayer ZBA will conduct a public hearing at 7:20 PM on Wednesday, August 19, 2015, at the Ayer Town Hall located 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, regarding the applications by HRES Ayer LLC, 19 Fitchburg Road, Ayer, Mass. 01432. Applicant seeks a variance from zoning bylaw 8.4.1, sign height, seeking 18 foot 8 inches where 15 foot is allowed, and from 2.2 91-2 sign surface area seeking 48.9 square feet where 40 square feet is allowed. All right, sir.
Hi,
You're up.
Doug Murray representing HRES Ayer. We are the developer for the Family Dollar. Like the applicant from Ayer 22 LLC before, we are seeking the variance for the height above the 15-foot limit because of the position of the building, our building, the depth from the roadway. We went through the same process as it was. We went through, we got our building permit, and then it was brought to our attention afterwards that our signage had been placed too high on the permit drawings. So we are under the same conditions that you heard from the applicant before, that certain retail developers and users prefer their signage of, where it can be visible from the street. When it's held back from the street like that, we are far beyond the setback limit. We're about 100 to 110 feet back ourselves. We are not actually, after submitting, we went over it with the building inspector. We do not require a size variance because our outline does comply with the limits of the signage.
So the second part of this variance?
We really, if you want to give us the variance, it really is
But it doesn't, you said it doesn't need it?
It doesn't need it because since we made the submission, we had been in discussions with the building inspector, and the outline of our signage, depending on how, it's an interpretation of the code. By his interpretation, we are under the 40 square feet. It depends on how you draw the line, the box around it. If you take a full rectangular box from the, all the way from the F to the R and the height of the medallion, that would be over 40 square feet.
Right.
If you draw the box around the Family Dollar, which is the way part of the code, the one section of that code reads, we wouldn't be required. Regardless, we are allowed, if you read the code, we're actually allowed two signs at 40 square feet. We're only asking for the one at less than 40 square feet. So unlike the other, we're not even asking, we don't really need the size variance if you were to.
I have two questions. The Family Dollar with the pendant in the middle, is that one sign?
It's actually three
separate pieces.
individual pieces,
Okay.
right?
All right.
And so that is, we had to work through that interpretation, and because it came up so late in the process, we had appeared before the board back in October of 2014. We were granted 4 variances. Had we known this would have been an issue, we would have brought it up at that time. In fact, some of my historical documentation, we presented a sign that was actually twice that size when we appeared before the planning board, and it just didn't come up. I mean, it's appropriate to the building size, like, the previous discussion. And
That's my
that's
second
why.
question. How did it get to this point?
This is the same point. We went through the variances, we went through the building permit.
And nobody noticed?
Nobody noted it. We understand it is on the applicant, and, but I don't think anyone acted improperly. We didn't try to sneak it by anyone. It's always been there, and that's the way it happens. So, but we are back from the roadway. We do have a 15-foot high pylon, which is by code, 30 square feet going on the road. So we are not, we have our signage on the road per code. And this one is for size per code, just that we're asking it to be above the 15-foot limit.
So all you need is a height variation, you don't need a size variation.
That is correct.
Question?
I guess, do we, with no questions, are we going to move it as written?
Should we,
Or should we amend the?
I don't think it's a technicality. If you
Yeah.
grant us the variance and someone were to come back and say, hey, we don't think the building inspector interpreted the code, you had granted the variance. I mean, considering that just what happened just across the street, you know,
Good point.
it doesn't matter.
I think that's a
I
good
think
point.
that's a good point. Okay.
Public input.
Do we have any public input? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the variances as requested and as detailed in the public hearing notice for the address of 19 Fishburne Road.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
On to part 2.
Oh, yes, that's great.
Let's get back on schedule.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's right, okay. Now, is
What?
there paperwork in here for that?
Yeah, that, I put in the old one from October. You and I talked about this. This is, they're hanging over a
Oh, that's
roof
right,
or
yep, yep,
something.
yep.
Yeah, we did. And we just said we were gonna add that to the agenda.
Yes.
If Doug, you wanna explain? I had
What
sent you
happened?
the email he had sent about 6 weeks ago, probably.
Again, going back to October 8th, and, you know, I apologize, because we had a local attorney handling this stuff at that point, and then my civil engineer to place the building, the foundation line of the building is 14 feet off, which was the setback we were granted. When you build the building, the metal panel on the outside of the building hangs over that 14-foot out foundation.
Okay.
So we're into it by roughly an inch. So we're asking for, you know, if we had done it properly, we would have just held the building back 6 inches or asked for a 13-foot setback. So it is unfortunately something that happens. It's been brought up in the past to us, and so we wanted to clarify it at this point that the building is going to project into the setback by a couple inches, you know, depending on if there's any variation in the wall. But again, I went over it with Mr. Vellante. It is the face of building. It does not include the gutters or the overhangs above. The face of the building should be beyond the setback line, and we're going to be a couple inches into that setback.
Is that the finished face of the building, or is that
Yes.
the face of the footer?
It's the face of the building,
Okay.
which is what he said. The footer, obviously, the footer does go.
The
you know,
footer
8
does go,
inches.
but the face of the building doesn't.
Well, no, the face of the building, the face of the foundation is at 14 feet. The face of
Yep.
the building is about 13, 10 and a half.
Okay.
The footing is probably 13, if you were to go to the edge of the footing. But that, after clarification with him, it is the face of the building. So we are into the setback by a couple inches.
I'll offer the, abutter's not here tonight, but was here originally and was very enthusiastic and had no problem with the variance that we granted.
Who was the abutter?
Clayton Arvidsson.
Pardon me?
Clayton Arvidsson.
All right. Motion?
Yeah, I think we just,
I would just
I-
endorse it as non-substantial.
yes, I would make a motion that we endorse the change as described by the applicant as non-substantial.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Unanimous. Thank you, sir.
Great,
very much.
thanks.
I'll let Katie know on that. I'll write something on it. Will be-
Could we have the same question for you? When are you going to open?
September, no, it's going to probably be October 7th or 14th.
Okay, October's going to be a big month for us.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
A lot of records. Yeah, we do, yeah, we'll have a soft opening as well on like
Great,
Saturday, and then the grand opening will be the week after that.
excellent.
Yeah.
Super.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion to close that hearing?
I move that we close the hearing for the non-substantial change to the variance for Family Dollar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Float.
Okay.
All right. Next. Town of Ayer Zoning Board of Appeals public hearing notice. The Ayer ZBA will conduct a public hearing at 7:35 PM on Wednesday, August 19, 2015, at the Ayer Town Hall located at 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, regarding the application by Calco LLC, 22 West Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432. Applicant seeks a special permit for the use category of warehousing and interior storage within a general business zoning district for proposed self-storage development.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the record, I'm Cal Goldsmith from GPR. Calco, my client, you may know Calvin Moore,
Yes?
is Calco. And he owns a storage building across the street, right next to a restaurant there and
Next to
between
Dan.
him and
Yeah.
the veterinarian. And so he wants to do the same thing on this side.
I can't put my finger, I looked at the outline you gave me, but I can't put my finger on this piece of property. What's this building right here? Is that little,
This building is the
Antique shop.
the antique shop's not antique. it's,
okay, then there's a gas
consignment.
station.
Yes, the old
And this
gas
was the
station.
old gas station.
That's lot one?
That's the lot.
Well, no, I mean, on this drawing,
That's
Yeah.
lot one. That's
lot one is the old gas station, right?
Well, it's the old gas station plus, I'll do this in highlighter, so. That is going to be, we've got an A&R plan going into the planning board. We've also got site plan approval application to the planning board for this. And basically, we're taking this parcel and adding this to it to make a lot that's big enough so that we don't run afoul of the Board of Health regulations about having to get a special permit if you have too small, if you've got too much coverage on your lot.
Okay. All right.
So,
Yep.
and this lot will be used for some of our drainage stuff as well. This is the one, it's a 3,000 square foot storage building on that lot. Our application to the planning board right now is just for this lot. But we're asking for the special permit for both lots for the use because this is the second phase of the project that we're working on right now. It'll be on a separate lot.
Are you gonna tear up that old gas station?
It's gone. It's just a pad. It's just a
Are there
gas-
still tanks under there?
No, I think that's all been removed, that's all been remediated. I think the
Okay.
only thing that's there now is just a concrete slab that's gonna come out. So
That'll
this,
come up in site plan.
so what we're asking for basically is just a use special permit. It's allowed under the zoning and in general business zone, which this is. Somehow this is still zoned general business, and in that zone, for warehouse and interior storage use requirement is a special permit from the ZBA, which is why we're
And
here tonight.
Devon's is the abutters.
Devon's is one of the
That's
abutters.
that's what I read.
Yeah, Devon's is one of the abutters right there. And then across the street, obviously, his storage place is right here.
Mhm.
There's the restaurant and there's the strip mall there that's got a
Mhm.
Okay.
bunch of stores.
So this is where they had like the used car sales or something, right? Past where the gas station was, and didn't they
The
used to have
field.
cars for sale?
They did for a
down
while,
there?
I think they did, I think that's this piece.
And
Hmm.
This has
And
now
this
got piles of
piece-
fill on it. This is the piece that has the piles of fill that are placed on it. And this is the old gas station.
right, but this piece goes back a lot further.
It does, it goes all the way back to here. We're only gonna use this much of it. And then on this side, we're gonna come in with another A&R plan at some point that carves off the rest of this, and then this will probably go to conservation.
He's only going to use this piece, does he own that whole section?
He owns the whole
of it?
thing, yeah.
That's not wet there?
It is wet back here, not, the wetland edge is right here. But we're not doing anything in that area. It's an area requirement we need to meet for Board of Health.
And you
So
say
our,
for drainage.
actually, I can show you our actual development on lot one. Looks like this. So that's, here's the building. The dark is the paving, then there's stormwater management in there. All of that is outside of the wetland buffer zone and above the floodplain.
If your stormwater management is in that other lot, flip your first drawing back over. how you gonna put that?
It's right here.
Oh, it's the other side of that line. I got it.
Right,
Okay.
because we're combining those two.
Okay. Got it. Yes.
And so, just to be clear, what you're looking for, you require a special permit for the use.
For the use.
So really, the question for us is the use compatible with the neighborhood, the street, the other uses? And I think clearly, this board didn't approve the storage across the street, but it is across the street, so it seems that it's a, identical use on both sides of the street. So seems like a
that's
pretty
really the
easy
question.
question for us. I do have a question, just, now, we have a lift station there somewhere
There is a
for the
lift
DPW?
Lift station's right here.
And are
And
you?
we've been coordinating with DPW on that. They want to upgrade that
Yes, yep.
and put in a new station, so we've been going
You're
back
gonna
and
work
forth
with them
Ron.
on that?
We're
Oh,
working
that's
with them,
great,
yeah,
good.
to make sure that they've got the land they need to do what they need to do to upgrade that lift station.
This almost became
Is that an
Town of
easement?
Air land, I don't know if anybody knows.
Is that an easement where the lift station is?
Yes.
I believe, yes, it is an easement. It's an existing easement. We'll amend that easement to be whatever they need to do.
So it won't impact.
No, in fact, it's being improved. Better access, easier access, upgraded system.
These are slab sheds,
Yes.
nothing more than a frost wall.
Nothing more than frost wall, slab under.
Are they floating slabs or are they actually going to put a frost wall?
I think they'll have frost wall.
Okay.
I don't remember any other.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
isn't this in an aquifer protection district?
It's in the ACEC. I'm not sure if it's in the Aquifer Protection District or not. Actually, it is, because that's why we needed the Board of Health. We would have needed the Board of Health permit if we were below a certain,
Future Works.
I don't understand.
Mr. Chairman, by approving the special permit for the use, we will again allow the applicant to move on to site plan review. It looks like you're going to have to require some review by Conservation Commission at some point.
conservation.
So-
This one will not, but that one most
All right.
definitely will.
Yes.
We'll be going to Conservation Commission. We've already applied to NHESP
Right.
because we're in their area, we're in
And that's,
ACEC. So we'll
just for
probably
the viewing
file
audience,
that.
that's any, what's it? Yes.
Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program.
Absolutely.
It's a state, it's a federally authorized, federally chartered, state-run organization that worries about habitat so we'll be for endangered species. So we'll be talking to them, we're already talking to them, going through that process. We'll be talking to Conservation Commission. By having the additional acreage, then we meet the requirements of the Board of Health or within the watershed district, not having to have the aquifer district, not having to have a special permit from them. And as you say, we've got plenty of extra land, so that's not huge. But on the other site, we'll be engaging not only with the planning board, but the Conservation Commission in some great detail.
So we are just specifically looking to see if it's applicable, whether we'll allow that use.
Mr. Chairman, if that's in the aquifer protection district, that's going to regulate what is stored in there, and it's going to have to be hazardous
good point.
materials can be stored in there, or even fuels or things like that. So that's, I think that reflects on the use that should the applicant is, not the use, the classification as warehouse, in our consideration of this. I'm just gonna go right off. I have other objections to this as another blot in the entryways to our town, another ugly thing. I know we can't, none of us can that shouldn't enter into the decision, but, I think it was prevent such a development.
The question-
I'm going to be.
The question at the table
I'll say
is
it.
whether or not it's an acceptable use for that property. Now,
It isn't. Well, yes, all right.
yes, it is.
It's another use for the property.
It's another
We don't
use for the
have to
property.
grant it to them,
True.
especially if it's going to be detrimental to our town.
If it would be detrimental.
And that could include the appearance of our town.
As
Well,
opposed to what's currently
cosmetic-
there, though.
cosmetics,
Well, yeah, opposed to what's currently there, yeah, it's an
Right.
improvement, but that
Sure.
doesn't make
Right.
it, just because I could put something else in there and make an improvement other than having some.
Well, one thing you've got to
other
realize
boxes.
is how constrained this site is too, and how difficult it is to put something on this site that's gonna be, anybody else is gonna want to develop, that's why it has been
Open
developed in a
space.
while.
Well, that's,
Well, you've got open space
that's,
now.
that's why Phil Berry wanted to get rid of it.
It's very constrained, very difficult site to develop, and it's not really something where you put a store, or you put a,
I understand what you were saying about the storage, fuel. If any of the storage facilities, the one across the street, or even the one over at U-Haul behind the oil company, they all make it clear what you're supposed to put in there or not supposed to put in there. And in reality, it's really self-regulated.
I think
So-
the fire rates don't allow anything.
Well, you're not allowed, you're correct, but it has the potential, but 2 buildings down, there's tractor trailers parked there. There's a candidate for fuel spills.
All right.
In any case, I'm sorry.
I just, for the record, putting my planning board hat on, I agree with Ron. This is a gateway of the town. If we had the zoning bylaw to do over again, I'd probably change the zoning and get the special permit out of it. But it was approved across the street, and you may have been on the ZBA at that point. Maybe you said the same thing then.
It's the same,
I know, but you don't allow more of the same crappy look on the entrances to our town.
we're not talking about aesthetics. We're really
Well,
not.
we have a chance to address aesthetics by denying that use. That's all, and that's all I'm gonna say, because I'm gonna vote against it, I'll tell you right now. So that's, and then.
I'll just-
and that's-
It will go through site plan review.
Just on the-
The current plan, I didn't see any landscaping, but maybe we'll get some bushes and stuff.
No landscaping associated with it.
So it's got, and it's going to be similar in the green, kind of dark green, like across the street, similar to that?
Yeah.
Any public input? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to vote.
I move that we approve the special permit as listed in the public hearing notice.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm just a little confused as to why it needs an exception. I'm not sure.
The zone doesn't allow warehousing or storage facilities unless we give it a permission. It's a commercial zone, but we have to, they don't allow, commercial zones are not allowed to have warehousing or storage facilities except by special exception. And that's what this is about.
And so across the street, they got a special exception.
Yes, sir.
Right. Really, the decision is about the use, whether, and it's not about aesthetics, it's about the use and whether it's appropriate. Is it?
Okay, I just wanted to know
Yeah.
what we
Yeah.
were actually looking at.
What we're actually looking at, if you take a minute. Four, yeah, I wrote it down.
I'm not, I don't have it in front.
Special uses.
Page 62?
It's on the table, it's on the use table. There you go.
So, 5.3 it says?
There you go, there's the table.
I guess I understand your objection to the aesthetics of this, but I think the reality of this is it's going to be developed for something like this.
But the onus is not on us for aesthetics. That's the zoning board.
That's right. And this,
Planning board.
That's the planning board, and they'll talk about screening, we'll have a landscape plan, we'll have an entrance sign.
Okay, I just want to make sure that what we're agreeing to is what we should be agreeing to and not looking at,
Right.
What we're agreeing to is whether or not it's a permitted use. By town bylaw, it's not, except by exception.
That's what they're seeking.
That's what we're discussing. Nothing about the building, aesthetics, placement, water treatment. It's whether or not we'll allow it to be used for that purpose.
okay, well, I haven't seen an objection against it, I guess.
You're open to vote, yea or nay.
Okay,
Did we vote? Did we finish voting?
Okay.
We
Yeah,
just,
so
Yeah.
4 to
Yay,
1.
okay.
okay, we got it.
4 to 1.
Great.
4-1. Motion carries.
Push
Thank
down and try and get some good landscape.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Motion to close the hearing?
I move to close the hearing for Calco at 22 West Main Street.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion, hearing closed. I'm gonna change the timeout. Alright. Next one there.
Yeah, I know this house. Yep.
Alright.
Yeah, we're zipping through this, good.
Alright, Town of Ayer, Zoning Board of Appeals, public hearing notice. Ayer ZBA will conduct a public hearing at 7:50 PM on Wednesday, August 19th, 2015, at the Ayer Town Hall located 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, regarding the application by Antonella Fuscher? Did I do it right?
I think you did.
Okay. 84A Groton Road, Ayer, Mass. 01432. Applicant seeks a special permit per Ayer zoning bylaw 4.3 non-conforming structures and 4.4 table of use subsection 1.3 for conversion of a single-family dwelling to a two-family dwelling.
Good evening.
Again,
My name is Cal Goldsmith from GPR, still.
Very efficient.
Yes, no kidding. So you have the application before you. You've also, I believe, gotten this plan which shows, I think you had this plan. It
I did,
shows the
yeah.
apartment.
okay, got that one.
It's an interesting situation. First of all, that lot that I've highlighted here is on a right-of-way that serves 5 or 6 houses.
Yes,
It's not a road,
it's not.
but they've been there.
It's one of our Ayer special places.
It is. It was built in 1979. It was added to sometime at least 15 years ago. I have a property record card from the assessor's office that shows date measured of 2000, and that shows the entire house the way it exists today.
Okay.
So we know it's existed for at least 6 years. It was existed for 15 years or so. Just to give you a quick rundown of what we're talking about. The house was built in '79. The addition was put on some 15 years ago, as I said. The addition is okay, perfect. So there's the floor plans. Everything to
The second floor is the main building only?
everything from here over was the original building.
Right.
And there's the top of the original, or the basement of the original building, and this sits on top of that,
Okay, all right.
okay?
So the only thing we're talking about it.
Then this addition was built with a garage and the addition, say year 2000 for lack of a better, more formal date. But it never had a building permit. Didn't have any permits, just got built. But it was a long time.
Yep.
And it's actually, if you see the pictures of it, it's a very nice looking house.
Yes, we got
It's,
pictures in the, in our,
in the application, I think we gave you 3 of them. So it's a very nice house, and it looks like it belongs there, and there's
Absolutely.
plenty of room, no butters nearby. When they bought it, and they bought it just recently, she's a single mother, bought the house, and at that point found out that it really was not a two-family, it was really only permitted as a single-family house. And it is allowed to be converted to a two-family by special permit. But the other piece of the puzzle on this is that the lot itself is in a zone A1, which requires 40,000 square feet, and this lot is 24,000 square feet. So it's a non-conforming lot in the zone. It's got this larger building on it that can be converted to a two-family from a one-family by your bylaws, which is what we're asking for. And we're also asking for a special permit for the modification of a non-conforming structure. And then that will make it legal, basically. We're not trying to change the building at all. When Gabe saw it, he went out to look at it. We were going to do a kitchen remodel. He went out to look at it, and basically Gabe looked at it and said, hey, wait a minute, you can't have those two doors at the top of the stairs. You can't have these two doors because then that is a separate unit, and you can't have a stove in that kitchen. So he took the stove out, put it in the basement, took those two doors, put it downstairs, and now this is just another bedroom, basically. So it's a 4-bedroom house. And the septic system is originally designed, because this is a 3-bedroom house, and that adds one to it, so that's a 4-bedroom house. The septic system was originally permitted for a 4-bedroom house, and I have those plans here.
Hold it. Stop right there.
Okay.
It was permitted for a single-family 4-bedroom house.
That's correct.
Now you're putting it, now it's gonna be a 2-family. That's a
Four-bed-
different Title V.
4-bedroom house, though, no, those are my bedrooms.
It's still 2-family.
It is, but it's
Your Title V is for a single-family dwelling. I think there's a difference.
it's 1 and 2 family together.
I think there's a difference.
I don't think there is.
Okay.
I'll check it to make sure, but I don't think.
I don't see any paper here that says it's the same thing.
It goes by. And
I know the houses go by bedroom. I understand that.
And I think it's for 1 and 2. I think Title V is for 1 and 2 family, and then after that you get into a different. But it's still, even if you had a 5 family, you'd still be looking at how many bedrooms it is. It's still going to be designed based upon that. And this is a plan from 1976 or 8. It was done.
Oh, Leachfield?
For
Your
Leachfield,
septic system,
4-bedroom, and
Leachfield?
it was done under the old regs.
Well, when they
so
sold the
it's
house, they
quite
must have
bigger.
done a Title V on it.
Yeah, I think it passed fine, yeah.
And I believe this went through the Board of Health, originally got a disapproval. I think there was an email today. I think you worked something out.
We did, we have an email today.
Oh, great.
From Bridget.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I don't,
So she's reviewed it. She doesn't have a problem,
reviewed what?
reviewed what we're trying to do here. She doesn't have a problem doing it if we upgrade the septic tank to comply with the current regulations. It's only got 1,000 gallon.
It's gonna need to be 1,500.
It needs to be a 1,500 gallon tank.
Right.
So we can do that, and we have no problem making that a condition of anything you guys do here tonight if you do anything. And for the time being, she's going to use this as a 4-bedroom house. She has no intention of renting it out, but she is a single mother. Her kids are at the age where, 3, 4, 5 years from now, they may be out of the house, and then she would like to put the doors up and be able to do it as a 2-family, which is why we're asking for the conversion from the single family to the 2-family. But again, it doesn't change anything outside the house. It doesn't change anything that's in existence today. It's only what use you can make of it. And it takes a non-conforming, non-permitted building and brings it into the...
Makes it legit.
Makes it legit.
I'm sorry, I just still have heartburn about the septic system. I really do.
Well, I
just got heartburn with it.
I mean, we deal with Title V a lot. I don't think it makes any difference, and I can get you documentation.
Because the only thing we see is, okay, plan is conditionally approved. We're not doing a conditional approval. That's not gonna happen.
No, I think she's saying from the Board of Health standpoint. From the Board of Health standpoint, she's offering
Plan is
conditionally...
conditionally approved pending the applicant installing necessary septic tanks to comply with Title V regulations. Property will also need to be deed restricted to 4 bedrooms. Well, it is 4 bedrooms now.
It is 4 bedrooms now. There's a, see in the basement? There's
Yeah.
like a small office. It says up in the corner, it's a small door with a hole in it, and it's too small to be considered a bedroom, but
If memory serves
But
me
Bruce
correctly,
offered-
a bedroom constitutes the space with a closet.
you gotta have at least 70 square feet with a closet. Yeah,
That's
that
right.
doesn't meet that. But in order for this to be, for the Board of Health to be comfortable with this, they wanted, Bruce offered, and they took him up on it, of deed restricting it to 4 bedrooms, which is something that typically happens in large houses in some towns where you get, somebody wants a media room and they want a library and they want other rooms that could be considered bedrooms if somebody went and built a closet in them. They deed restrict it to say it's only good for X number of bedrooms. How many rooms you've got? It's deed restricted to X number of bedrooms. And so that's replacing a septic tank and the deed restriction to 4 bedrooms is what the Board of Health would require in order for them to be okay with issuing the permits for the septic system. This woman, I mean, she's doing this because she's trying to bring it legal. She wants to get it up to snuff and legal and be able to
understand
do
it,
what she
and-
wants with it, instead of having it kind of hanging out there. And
In my opinion, I don't know, talk about it amongst here on the board, I think this should be continued until we resolve the Title V.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
And
Anybody
your
else have thoughts?
question is, you think there's a different design
I
criteria?
think there's different criteria. Now, what I have in front of me, other than the email, says, okay, we
Yeah.
made an agreement to do something. Right? What I see is that a disapproval. All right? On one document, I see an agreement of some sorts. On another document, we're going to, you're asking for a variance to change it, to try to make it conform to a 2-family dwelling.
Right, which is allowed in this zone.
It's allowed in the zone, but
Carly, here's-
I don't want to
we
make it
did-
worse than it already is.
I don't think you'll make it worse. I think you'll make it better because you'll be legal now and everybody will have knowledge of it and have some ability to control it. What I'm passing around is the upgrade of the plan that you've got in front of you, this one. This is a survey of the property itself showing the buildings, setbacks from property lines, the fact that it is non-conforming with respect to setback to the rear, it's only 27.6, it needs 30. So that's part of why we're asking for the first special permit, because it's a non-conforming, and just the size of the lot. It doesn't meet the 40,000 square feet criteria that it requires. So that's what makes it a non-conforming lot, which is why we need the 2 special permits rather than just the 1 for the conversion.
Yes, sir.
I guess I don't necessarily share the concerns about the Title V, but is there any time sensitivity to this?
I don't believe so. I don't think it's an urgent.
If we continue to our next meeting, the hearing, and just got a clarification from the Board of Health, would that be fine?
That'd be fine.
I don't even know if you'd have to attend. I think we just, as long as we can get some clarification? Is that-
Absolutely, clarification and resolution.
Resolution to the Board of Health question, to the Title V question.
Yeah, rather than an email saying, okay, we made an agreement.
Okay, I think what she'll offer is a more detailed letter that says we're going to require the tank to be upgraded to a 1,500 gallon tank. It'll require, I mean, basically just what this says, it will be required to comply with Title V regulations and be deed restricted to 4 bedrooms.
But I don't know what the Title V regulations are. That's the wild card, okay?
No, I don't think so. I know you do. I don't. So that was my question to you is, you want me to offer more clarification on what Title V requirements are?
Yes,
from a
but I'm
design-
gonna look anyway.
I'm sure you will.
I
That's
just
fine.
think if we had a letter on hand that just was a little bit more clear, with a signature maybe, that would be
All right,
fine.
I'll chase
As long
that,
as we've
make
got
sure
some
that-
time.
What were can I just ask clarification on the 2 special permits?
One is for the first one is for a modification of an existing non-conforming structure.
Oh, okay.
We could actually approve that one tonight
Yeah.
and just continue the other.
And the second one is for a conversion to a 2-family.
Right. That's the one I wanna hold on.
Okay.
that sound?
So-
And we're okay, I'm sorry, okay on the calendar if we did that?
Yeah, the 65 days from application was, it's 9/27,
Yeah.
and our next meeting is September 16th, so we'd be okay.
Okay.
Rob?
So clarification, so the first thing before the board, and this is what I was trying to ask, you know, you're not saying make this thing illegal. So,
Setbacks. The property line here is 27 and a half feet, it's supposed to be 30.
And the lot is 24,000 and change,
Lot's
it's
too
supposed to be
small.
40.
The lot's 24,000, it's supposed to
for
be
a single
40.
family house. Right. So first, considering this as a single family house as it is now,
That's all we're doing.
then the motion before the board or the action to
Yes.
be considered is to allow this setback. I don't
No.
know.
It's not a variance. We're not asking for the setback. We're asking for a special permit for the modification of the building that was done previously to be allowed by special permit. So it's a
it's an
special
after the
permit for,
fact.
it's an after the fact,
Is this-
special permit for modification. And I'm not sure,
This part, yeah,
Yeah.
this part was put on after,
Yes.
okay? And it doesn't meet the requirements, so that's what they're looking for the first part. That's one of two.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mike?
I'm all set.
Todd?
So they're looking for an exemption to what they've already done.
Yes.
and it was
What they
somebody,
didn't do, what
No,
had been
right.
done.
What somebody-
Exactly, what has been done
Wow.
to the property.
Yeah, they're trying to bring it in, they want to, they can't bring it into compliance, they want to legalize it.
right. And it's been over 6
Technically, it should have
years.
been done before they did the building.
Right,
And then it would've
but at
been-
this point, what difference does it make? I mean, if we say, you know, we,
They're not going to tear the building down.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a non-conforming structure, but it was also done greater than 6 years ago, so basically it exists now.
Is there a difference in the allowance between a single-family and a two-family house? Or do they both have the same constriction as far as area? It doesn't matter, the size?
No, there's some, I mean, it depends on how your zoning's written. There's sometimes where you'll be granted, like if this was in a zone A2, I believe, it's a 12,000 square foot zone, but if you want to have a two-family conversion, you need at least 24,000 square feet on your lot, which coincidentally, we've done more than that, but that's in an A2 zone. In the A1 zone, it just says you got to have 40,000 square feet
Okay.
for a conforming lot. But there's no way they can do that. Dave Minson.
So I think, yeah, if we can, we can do a motion on the second part of this.
The first.
Do we want to open it up? We can open it up for discussion after.
To
To the audience,
Do
absolutely.
we have public input? Oh, all right.
Makes it easy.
Again, so the clarification before the board is that this next motion, vote, will make this, will not take away the fact that this is still a non-conforming
That's correct.
structure.
Correct.
That's
It will only make the, what has been added.
Conforming to bylaws.
by means
That's what
of-
we're doing.
By means of a special permit.
I'm sorry, I just need that.
It
It's
takes-
confusing.
Yeah, it is, so it is.
It is a little confusing.
How would you word it?
But that's exactly what we're working on. For now, I think we'll get some exact wording, but I think if I move to approve the special permit as listed in the public hearing notice,
Well, that just.
Specifically.
No, that's both of them.
right, specifically, a special permit per air zoning bylaw 4.3 non-conforming structures. I am going
And
to,
stop there.
and stop there. I think I'm satisfied with that, right?
Yes, sir.
Does that sound okay?
That sounds right.
I'll second that. Great. All in favor?
Aye.
And we'll come back to you with the Board of Health stuff and get that all coordinated and clarified for you.
Very good.
Motion to continue to September 16th.
I move that we continue the remainder of the hearing till September 16th at 7 PM.
Yeah, we can do this one at 7.
Yep.
Second continuation, so September the 16th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Thank you very much. Do we have a time?
Thank you.
We'll put you at 7, we'll put you at 7.
Oh, perfect.
Motion to close this, oh no, we're gonna leave it
We
open.
would continue, yep, okay.
Keep it open, keep it open. All right.
All right, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank
You don't have the next one?
I don't. No, somebody else does.
Oh, you're a slacker.
Yeah, 3 for 3.
2.5.
2.5, right.
I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Uh,
Next, last but not least,
Yes.
this is the,
Town of Ayer Zoning Board of Appeals, public hearing notice. The Ayer ZBA will conduct a public hearing at 8:10 PM on Wednesday, August 19, 2015, the Ayer Town Hall located 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432 regarding application by GS Holdings LLC, 14 Washington Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432. Applicant seeks a special permit to allow for residential use in commercial building and allow for the reduced side setback and insufficient off-street parking in pre-existing non-conforming structure. Seeking variance to allow for residential use on street level in downtown business district. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Cheryl Gould from Littleton. I'm an attorney, and I'm representing GS Holdings. Some time ago, the town put out an RFP for reuse of the central fire station. That's the Washington Street Fire Station. And there were a lot of criteria in that, much of which required that the bidders were to preserve as much of the exterior facade of the building as was possible. And so my client put in a proposal. It was acceptable to the town. And the proposal was that he would convert the structure into 6 to 8 two-bedroom apartments up and down stairs, which the town thought desirable as walking distance to the shopping areas and everything. And because the market and the economy right now favors that as a less expensive renovation and also as a more likely way to tenant the building, and that would provide for the economics to keep the building preserved as it was required to be done. I'm just going to run down a couple of the things and then I'll get into the variance hardship criteria, but just to give you some background. So my client's proposal was that the entire building would be power washed and the brick repointed as necessary. The slate roof will be stripped and replaced with new asphalt shingle. Firehouse doors will be replaced with production doors to be fitted with exterior entry doors for the apartments, but the doors will look like firehouse doors still. All windows will be replaced as required by the code for energy efficiency. The cupola will be restored to its original condition. All grounds, the cupola.
Oh, okay.
All grounds will be improved and landscaped as permitted by whatever the area is able to be landscaped depending on parking requirements, etc. The parking will be resurfaced and striped to provide 10 on-site parking spaces. That's 10 spaces for 6 to 8 units. New exterior lighting and signage conforming to the earlier architecture, but new and upgraded lighting and signage, and consistent with that prevalent along Main Street. No additional curb cuts are going to be required. So basically, he made that proposal, and the proposal was, as I said, to put between 6 and 8 two-bedroom apartments in there, one of which will be dedicated as an affordable house, as that term is defined by DHCD. And initially, the thought is to maintain the building as rental, but it may get converted and sold as condominium, but my clients would like to maintain it as rental. So the zoning bylaw says that on special permit, the property is less than 25 feet to the residential district. This is a downtown business district, by the way. And property is less than 25 feet to the residential district. There's probably insufficient parking for these units, but there also would be insufficient parking if the property was reused as commercial, either partially or totally. And so parking is going to have to be allowed to be insufficient by special permit in either event. And the bylaw says that if it's a pre-existing nonconformity and the new use is not more detrimental, then this board can give a special permit as to the parking. We feel that there won't be a real parking problem with a residential use because typically a two-bedroom unit like this, especially with walk to downtown, is probably only going to have one car per unit. If there's more than one car per unit, typically those cars need parking in the evening hours or through the night, overnight, and not during the day as commercial would. We have had some discussion with some of our commercial neighbors, and while there's no commitments yet to share parking on the private lots that abut, there is a relative acceptance of the fact that if the overnight parking does not interfere with their daytime needs, that there would be some cooperation. And I think that's what the downtown anticipates anyway in most downtowns. The second special permit is to allow for residential use in a commercial building. And again, we're seeking that by special permit. We believe, again, that the residential use is ideally suited for this particular building. Everything around it on Washington Street is residential. It's not significantly different than what is going on in the district right now. And finally, the variance is to allow residential apartments on the first floor. If we can't get the variance for residential apartments on the first floor and they have to put commercial down, there would only be 3 units able to fit above on the second floor. And I'm not sure that the mix of 3 units above commercial is a desirable mix in that particular neighborhood. I'm not sure that the commercial would be very marketable that far off the beaten path. You have a lot of other commercial buildings, but most of them, you know, are easily accessible from the main street. I think I sent a sketch drawing of what the apartments might look like too, but.
Yep.
I think
The first floor, is that what we're looking at?
I think it might have been.
Okay, I guess that's, so these would be the garage doors, they'd be glazed, some sort of windows, is that what we're looking at?
Well, what he's going to do is a reproduction garage door, so it looks like the garage doors now, but there'll be a man door within,
Okay.
and you would enter. You know,
I'm looking at the right thing, right?
this is. I don't know if these got to you, and I'm sorry if they didn't, but
They didn't.
these were just pencil sketches. He didn't engage the services of an architect at this early stage until we're sure we can do it. But basically, they're kitchen, dining, living room.
Well, this
and
is the
2
building
bedrooms.
assessment, we're not looking at, those are not the plans.
Those are not the plans.
Gotcha.
For the residential.
We do you own this building now? Have they transferred title?
No, the purchase and sale agreement is signed.
Right.
Let me see if I can steer you to the right page. And the purchase and sale agreement contains a number of conditions.
Correct.
Deposits have been set down. The first of the conditions is that buyer, that's us, shall have obtained all permits and approvals necessary for this. And the one permit including but not limited to a variance or a special permit to allow the creation of residential units on the first floor of the building of the premises. And then it says we're to seek a zoning change, we're to seek a variance from this board, failing which we're to seek a zoning change at the next town meeting to allow this residential use. And the town selectmen have agreed to cooperate in that zoning change. I say that only because it's a written agreement where the selectmen have recommended this
Well,
to
it
happen.
seems to me, if memory serves me correctly, this went to town meeting.
For this, I think it went to town meeting for the request for proposals.
Yeah, because when you dispose of town property, it has to go out to bid, and that's a town meeting approval.
So the town approved it. Yes, Mary? I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I can correct that misinformation since I used a citizen's petition for town meeting in 2007. And let me just say for incorrect legal advice, the motion was tabled.
Ah,
The advice that was stated by town council was, we, quote, have to research the deed to see if we own it. It had been a fire station, we paid taxes, we paid insurance on that building for ages. So that's why, so here we are, you know, this was in 2007. I know every aspect of that, and I had no problem with that citizen's petition for signatures, I'll tell you.
all right, thank you.
Could you just clarify, what's the citizens petition? What was that? What was the question on the petition?
It was to ask the residents to give permission to sell
Yes,
the property.
Gotcha.
yes.
Okay.
And
So, so now, the property is still owned by the town,
It's owned by the town.
and you're coming forward for variances to meet the P&S. Is that correct?
My client is the purchaser
Yes.
under a purchase and sale agreement, which gives him the standing to come before this board for variances.
Yes.
And under the purchase and sale agreement, we have proposed a purchase price which is subject to our obtaining the requisite permits to be able to construct the interior of this building to reuse it and use it, so that we're not buying nothing.
Got it.
And the thing that we all worked together on, and I believe that's a fair statement, selectmen encouraged it, and we've been working together on it with your town council, is to do this as residential apartments. We were, ideally, we'd like to get that variance from this board to do the residential apartments. If we can't get the variance from this board, which I think the board is able to give us, especially since everyone's in favor of it, the next step would be to have selectmen draft a warrant article for the next town meeting and seek the zoning change to get residential in this structure. But that seems like an extra unnecessary step since everybody seems to be on the same.
You said it was surrounded by residential now?
There's the commercial right in front of it, which I think, oh, he's left. I think it was with the building that Calvin's in, which is the pool building for Calvin Morons, I think. But that's,
The billiards hall?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the parking lot's on
the
one side.
billiards hall. And, you know, across the street and through the parking lot is the North Middlesex Savings Bank. But all of that really is fronting on Main Street. Back here on Washington, we're a couple of blocks back from the Main Street, and everything around it, across the street, up the street, it's all residential.
All right, thank you.
There is no offset between that fire.
Excuse me,
station-
sir, could you identify yourself, please?
I live at Chuck Hanson, I live at 18 Washington Street. And I'd like to comment that on the north side of that, there is no offset between that wall and my property.
I don't,
Which wall are we talking about? The wall of the firehouse?
Of the fire station.
Now, can I ask a question, actually?
I have a assessment here.
oh, let's,
Can I, my understanding is, and perhaps the applicant can confirm this, is that we're actually losing these wings.
My understanding is that he's removing those wings.
Yes.
He's
So-
removing those
Yes,
wings?
those are going to be removed, yeah.
removing the
So
what?
I have a
These-
question about that.
Just,
One at a time,
well, let
please.
me just to clarify this, this is existing essentially, but these are non-historic parts of the building where there are two garages on either side, and those will be removed. Those will not be part of the finished building.
Is that correct?
I believe that's my understanding. I think he was taking the
I
main
was
structure.
wondering, with the drawing of the staircase.
David might have more information too.
Yeah.
This one. Because it doesn't, yeah.
Let's,
No, it doesn't.
let's, hold on for 1 second, please. David, can you clarify this?
David Mahara, Economic Development Director, and a longtime member of the Firehouse Committee. When GNS Holding came before us to start talking about the situation, they wanted to know how intense we were, the committee itself, on keeping the outside wings, and basically explained to them, historically, it's not part of the original fire station closure. To be able to use that part of the building as far as the construction, was not only add somewhat setback from the building to the property on each side, but that's where they're gonna probably pick up the 10 parking spaces that they're talking about. So basically, there'd be a section of the building that would be at least a parking space and movement wide on each side to this, to the house, which is directly
Here
right.
and here?
Yes. The addition on the right, which was their original ambulance garage, that would be removed right up to the inside wall. And then when it was the left side that was added for the new ladder truck, basically, that would be, there's an inside wall to that too. So both of those are just attachments to what was the inside of the building. And both of those, they feel that they'd be able to remove to build the apartments on the inside. So there would be, the building would not be like it stands today, right on the right within the property line, with no setback to the house, which is to the immediate right, and then to the parking lot. There's maybe only 3 or 4 feet down a small embankment that would lead to Mr. Moore's property. Now they would, the building would have an actual framework where it would be not to the property line as a physical structure on either side.
They have yards, essentially.
Yes, sir.
Yard and others.
Excuse me,
Yeah, I'm.
your property line is, now, you
Yeah.
tell me there's no setback
No,
from
there
here
No,
to your house or from here to your property
to my
line?
property, yeah.
What is it from the property line to your home?
I can show pictures, I can.
Well, just give me a rough guess. 10 feet, 20 feet?
10 feet, maybe.
Okay. So from the property line in, if this is not there, that's what, 15 feet, 20 feet?
More than that.
12, yeah, probably like that. They get rid of the
20.
whole garage.
No.
Okay.
Does that make you feel a little better?
Oh, yeah, that makes me.
Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am.
So I have a question. I live behind them on 17.
I don't know what's behind.
I know,
I-
17.
Behind.
Yeah, 17 Pleasant Street. The fire
Name?
station's my backyard.
Okay.
And it's right up on the property line. So there's gonna be no space in between our yard and the fire station as it stands now. So is that gonna continue to be that way?
It's going to be the same as it
Can't
is
move
now.
the building
Right.
No, I know, but with all of the demolition talking about,
on the sides?
Right, I don't, they do not propose to remove any part of the building from the rear.
No.
okay, so what's gonna be between my yard and open space now?
Just
What's there now?
Through the chair, to the speaker, to the questioner, just what's there now, nothing will change. And there's no demolition going on in back. He's going to power wash and repoint it, but there won't be any
But
demolition.
there will be, because the ambulance bay is right up on the property line
The
to
ambulance
my
bay,
backyard.
the ambulance bay won't be there.
Yeah, that would be good.
But
Right, but
she's,
there will
that's
be
what she's saying.
demolition.
She's saying
So what's
demolition of the
going,
ambulance bay is what
Oh,
she's
that's,
concerned about.
oh.
that's my backyard, so what's going there? Are my kids gonna be playing, are they gonna be able to walk right out into your parking lot now? That's what I need to know.
Will you have a fence?
Oh, I'm sure
I
they'll put
don't-
up a fence if that's.
All right, if I understand your question, if they take the ambulance bay down, what's gonna go there? If I understood it correctly, it's gonna be paved.
Yes,
Okay,
It's
so
gonna be
that's-
open space.
It's gonna be, okay, that's what I needed to know.
yes.
What
Yes.
my backyard's gonna be now, that's what I needed to know.
And we'll fence it if it's at all a hazard or an invitation to children to be in a dangerous location. If it's going to be parking, I think he would fence it so that the lights of the cars don't shine on you and so that the children aren't in the parking paved area
Right.
playing when the cars come home.
And,
Can I have your
They put a
name?
fence up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Liz Pearl.
Liz Perk.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
and I could, and again, this will be subject to site plan review, planning board. That's where the fence might come up, if you want to. Once we get to that phase, before they can issue a building permit, it'll go in front of the planning board again for site plan review.
If they build a fence around where the demolition would be, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
From our borders.
And a fence to keep children out is not that nice.
What do you mean, a construction fence or
No.
a permanent
A
fence?
permanent fence.
I see, okay. Okay. Planning board.
Yeah.
Site plan review. I mean, I don't want to pass the buck, but our authority is somewhat limited and in scope. So we have to address the zoning bylaws versus construction, demolition, aesthetics. So we deal with what we have in front of us, and if it gets passed here, at the next step is when the rest of it comes out. Yes, sir.
I just want to, David Myers here, Economic Development. I just want to acknowledge there's a lot of work that's gone into this. I think, if I could, just to summarize, it is a historically important building for the town. Not everyone agreed. There's plenty of people in town who want to tear it down. Nice to do a town parking lot. But I think the majority in the discussions decided that it was a significant structure for the town and for the history of the town, and that the best direction was to preserve it. So that's the committee decided that. The Board of Selectmen, I think, are pretty much in agreement with that, and I think the RFP kind of agreed with that, and that's where we are today, is preserving the building. And I think what's before us is what the applicant needs to do in order to make it commercially viable, financially viable.
What does your client do from this point forward? At what point does it become viable?
If the board votes tonight to grant the variance, there's the appeal period, and after the appeal period, my client is ready to go forward and purchase. I think we've done all of the other documents that need to be done. I'll check with town council, but we kind of put the cart before the horse and signed everything ahead of time, anticipating that this process would go smoothly. And if there's been any holdup at all, it's been on my back. So I want to thank Mr. Meyer for nagging me a little bit and getting us here.
We've all worked very
Yeah.
And town council has been very much a part of this, so it's been looked at from many angles over the past year, pretty much, to the chair.
Yeah, it has to be resolved by the end of this year, correct?
Right.
For the purchase and
December
sales?
31st.
Right. Or then it's null and void for purchase and sales.
Yes.
All right, I would agree with Mr. Callahan on the goodness of this project, or the merit of this project. However, I think we came up with the parking situation versus the number of apartments. Is there any way to reduce the number of apartments and still have this economically viable? Evidently, the purchase and sales agreement does not specify a certain amount of apartments being approved, only the...
You said 6 to 8.
The agreement,
Yeah.
pardon me,
Purchase and sale says 6 to 8.
6 to 8, one of which will be
Right.
affordable. So
Okay.
there's no return on that one affordable. So it's really,
So it's conceivable the lower amount of apartments could be approved to make it more in conformance with the parking spaces. I only bring that up as a possibility.
And just
I'd like to see it go forward, but just...
Can I ask one more question? Is the affordable unit, is that part of the purchase and sale, or is that something that you've added? It is part of it.
it's part of the
Okay.
purchase and sale. It's part of the purchase and sale.
Has to be, doesn't it?
It has to be created and provided.
Yes.
Mhm.
Or you could do it it could be a gift afterwards.
It could be a gift afterwards, or it could, I believe he's going to try to keep them as rentals, which means he would rent it to the affordable, in the affordable market. DHCD has a definition for what that
Absolutely.
rental rate
Yep.
has to be.
You have a number of those units
Yeah.
downtown, yes, we do that. Which I think is a plus. I consider that also a plus. Yeah.
So, another process question, would he go before site plan review after he's got to own it to go through that
That's-
process. So the next step would be getting all the paperwork and transferring the deed. Then you go forward
At
with
that
planning
point,
board.
right.
He's ready to go forward on that basis.
Yeah.
And I just point out, the application is not specific to the number of units, but your purchase and sale agreement is.
That's correct.
So, as it stands now, we're not telling them 6, we're not telling them 8, we're giving them an exception on the parking spaces, but we're not choosing. So to go in your direction, we would need to modify, put some sort of condition on the approval, if we were to put it at 6 or 7, or just to point it out.
So, brings Question, when are we approving? Just the change in use?
Yes, we are.
We're approving, we would be approving the change of use, the variance for the parking, and the setback, is that correct?
No, the other one is,
25 foot, it says,
it's two for use, residential use in commercial building and residential use on the street level. Is what we would be.
And the parking, and the parking by special permit on a pre-existing, there's not that much parking now, so it's
Non-conformity,
pre-existing
so
non-conforming.
there's 3.
New
That's
use is
correct.
not more
Right.
detrimental.
Is it one variance, two special permits?
The variance
I
is
do
for
have a question.
residential on the first
Right.
floor.
You ready?
Oh, yes, ma'am?
My name is Kim Crow, 17 Pleasant Street. If you're talking 6 apartments, you're talking 12 cars. 8, you're talking 16. We have a parking ban. Now, people on Pleasant Street that have apartments park in the parking lot on Washington Street, and they pay to park there. You're not gonna have enough space for your cars. We deal with the commuters, everything, constantly. There's not gonna be enough place to park your cars. Every apartment has at least 2 cars, at least. There's not gonna be enough place for these cars, which for us, as residents, we now are gonna have to deal with additional cars. Trying to park on Pleasant Street, trying to park on Washington Street. Calvin's not gonna give up all his spots at the Billards. The Federated Church is gonna need their parking for their church. I believe some of the apartments on Washington Street park in the Federated Church. There's no parking.
Mr. Chair, these are going to be 2-bedroom units. They're going to be small 2-bedroom units. The apartments, to my knowledge, the apartments on Pleasant Street have 2- and 3-bedroom units. And these are going to be desirable to the walk to downtown. There's no question there will be more than 1 car in some of the units, and maybe even 2 cars per unit. But it is pre-existing. If it were converted to commercial, we would still have the same parking issues going on. And he is going to provide 10 on-site spaces. So I think it's a big concession to the reuse of the building to get that many spaces on site.
David, you want to stand
You want to address that, David?
Well, not so much address it, but just like they do in real estate, give you a comparison. When we redid the Fletcher building, we ended up doing a mixed-use building with Mr. France. In that situation, there's 6 single units, which would mean, as the young lady said, at least 1 car, and commercial, and there's no parking that was allowed at that building whatsoever. It was all, they had to take care of themselves, Mr. France did what he could. So in that case, you had 6 units plus commercial space, and it was allowed not to have to just deal with the parking of the downtown, which he's tried to do. He's worked with Dr. Brown, he's worked with Mr. Berry. This case, you do have a builder who's at least putting 10 spots on the premises, taking away part of the building, making this actual physical situation better, I think, for the surrounding area. And as I say, in my position, this is what we all have to work with, so we all have to find a way to deal with this together on the situations. They're good points. I mean, I know I just spent a whole year doing a grant to help improve Pleasant Street, so I know the problems they have over there. The street actually comes down like this, with this wall, like this. It doesn't get worse, it gets better. But the situation is, at least the GS Holdings trying to put some spots there, and under the circumstances, as the landlord, he's gonna have to try and help his people find what there is for availability for other parking, as these people have to deal with too in Pleasant Street. But to the point, and in comparison, he at least making the effort to put some spots on the spot, whereas in Mr. Francis, that was a great abode for downtown, 6 units, 2 of those are affordable, 2,500 square foot of space, but he dealt with all on-street parking and anything else he could get from the local neighbors. So I think it kind of bodes well that they're at least trying to make an effort to at least give their tenants some kind of parking on their own property versus just saying, find what you can on the street and saying, you know, do the best you can.
Right, it is. It's 2 per unit. I'm curious what the new bylaw is proposing. That's what I'm looking
It's 2 per unit right now.
Yes, the zoning requires for a multifamily dwelling in downtown business, 2 parking spaces per unit, unless it's elderly, and then there's only 1 per unit required. I'm trying to find where we covered in the new one.
So we're about 6 to 8 short.
So why
I
can't you
calculate
just
2 to,
reduce the amount of apartments?
I calculate 2 to 6 short. If I have 6 units and it's 2 per unit, I need 12, and
Yes.
I've got 10.
Yes.
If I have 8 units, I need 16,
Right.
and I have 10. So we're 2 to 6 short.
All right. How do we do that? What do we do with that?
Well-
What does the owner, is there any, when you rent the property, when you rent an apartment, 1 space, 2 space, what do you get? Or is it free for all?
We're probably going to dedicate 1 space per unit, and the rest would be free-for-all or guest or extra parking for someone who has an extra car. And as I said, he's had preliminary discussions with Mr. Moore. If we're only 2 to 6 short, and we really need them overnight primarily, I think there's excess parking in the back of Mr. Moore's if we can work together to make sure the cars are out of there by the time business opens the next morning.
Yes, ma'am?
So I'm just saying, why can't you reduce the amount of apartments? Why does it have to be 6? I mean, it's in my backyard, it's in his side yard, it's not yours, we have to deal with it.
What I'd say to that is, I think it's been mentioned tonight, is the financial viability of this whole plan. To reduce the number of apartments brings in less rent, you know, I know you said they're not gonna sell them now, but it would bring in less rent. For them to, I think, go forward with this deal, there has to be a number, and they've deemed it 6 to 8, you know, that makes it, that has this whole process make sense, I think.
Correct, diagram. Makes sense. Yes, ma'am?
My name's Nicola Vinci. I live on 10 Newton Street. Well, you're saying that there's going to be 10 parking on site. Do you have a map to show where those will be?
No, because we haven't done any architectural designs, but there are, the engineers have identified 10 spaces on site at this point.
And that takes into consideration if we get massive snowfall too?
Not like last year. Not like last year. But again, you know, these managed buildings, when they're rental, when you don't have absentee landlords and you have a managed building like this, they provide for the snow to be removed off the site when it gets put it on the next door neighbor's site. No, they provide for the snow to be hauled away so that the parking would be there. Yeah.
Thought it was a
Yeah.
very strong consideration.
I think that will come up in site plan review as well, snow storage.
And then my other question is that if you're looking at 6 to 8 units, what's the square footage of that building minus those 2 wings? Do you know what the square footage is gonna be?
I don't have those numbers exactly either because, as I said, we didn't architecturally design the units, which is why the number is sitting between 6 and 8 and not necessarily 8 exact. I think really what's going to happen is I think you'll get 4 down and 3 up. I don't think you're going to get 4 over 4 when you put in plumbing and mechanicals.
8 would be a squeeze in
I think
that
you're right.
building.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's going to be closer to 7 or, in fact, 1 may end up being a studio or a 1-bedroom downstairs, 3 2s and a 1. So I think your parking is going to, the parking problem is going to diminish as we design out the units interior.
In general, I know this is wishful thinking. Part of your parking problem, believe it or not, will be resolved when our commuter rail parking lot is complete. And it is going to happen. It's going to happen.
We've been hearing that for years.
It's going to happen.
Come on.
We're gonna build a garage?
No, it's a parking lot. We haven't released it for design yet, and it's stuck in some negotiations with a downtown property owner, but it's going to be done. It's going to be done, and at that point, the commuter restrictions on certain spots on your streets will be relinquished. Commuters will have to park where the parking is.
And additionally, with my Board of Selectmen office hat on, the Board of Selectmen have tasked the town administration, town administrators, the Department of Public Works, the police department, to look at downtown parking as a whole, because we've heard all the complaints from Pleasant Street with the commuters on Newton Street, something that the DPW director is actively looking into, or looking for a state grant. Not just to study it, like I understand what has happened, but to actually implement the study. It's part of the comprehensive plan we're working on, so we're definitely aware. We've heard the concerns. It's just, you know, it's part of the bigger picture. I do want to just assure you guys of that.
And that, maybe that doesn't sound too reassuring. I think for me personally, and I'm a long-term area resident, the building's an eyesore. I think it's a liability for us to have an empty building sitting in the middle of downtown. I honestly have not participated in this process. I trust those who did. I think we've had some back and forth. Like I said, some people wanted to tear it down, and I think we have a creative solution here. I agree. Looking at the parking, that's a challenge. It is a challenge, but it is a challenge across downtown. I think everybody will agree, and it's a bigger problem than just this, or a bigger challenge than just this building. So in my mind, making the exception for the parking allows us to restore this building, get some folks living in it, and kind of liven up that part of downtown. That's my personal opinion.
Yes, Barry?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to get things clear here on this. So if I understand that you need these variances, but the next thing has to be, it has to go to town meeting, because the town has to give permission to sell an asset. I will say that as far as looking at I mean, we're a small community.
Right.
We're 9.6 square miles. You can have all the studies done you want. It isn't going to increase the land we have here. So as far as saying, well, we're looking into it, look all you want. Where are people going to park? It's crowded now. Thank God Dr. Brown bought the lot he did, because I never could find a place to park when I lent to him. But I think we need to be very careful with parking and not say to people, well, it'll be settled when we get the garage. This man has a very good question here. Where are you going to put the snow? I live in an area with no sidewalks, with people that park all over the place. I spent all winter digging snow off my property so I could get out. So let's be careful when we say we're going to take care of the parking. I also want to see something done with this. We've let it sit there and disintegrate for almost 10 years. I was on the first fire station reuse committee that looked at this, and we never do anything. We can't do two projects at one time in this town, so we pushed that off and we said, let's take care of the Pleasant Street School first. So here we are, we're back here, but let's be very careful what we do with regards to the parking.
You made a statement that you thought we had to take it to town meeting to sell it. I thought they had already given approval to do that.
Yes.
That's my understanding as well.
I'm not positive on
Yeah,
that, because it's been so long, Mr. Chairman, we've gone back and forth so much, that's all.
Yes, sir.
Through the chair, we wouldn't have gone this far with the purchase and sales that we've gotten to if it hadn't been passed. I think,
Yes.
I want to say, maybe spring of, not last year, but the year before.
Yeah.
It's been that long.
So, okay, so we're square then, all right. We have further public input?
I just know that a couple of years ago, further up on Washington Street, I don't know the house number, I can just tell you it's old Doc Hopkins' office. That gentleman wanted to have 4 apartments. He could not come up with enough parking, and he had to reduce it to 2 apartments, I believe. Could be 3.
3. That was Laura's.
Because he couldn't come up with enough parking, even though, you know, Calvin said you can park down here, even though they said you could park at Federated. He, you know, he's got apartments, he keeps it kind of clean. He couldn't get his amount of parking. You know, from the way I understand this, the fire station's not gonna sell if they can't get parking. That's fine. Give them less amount of apartments. I live there. You know, now you're creating more people, more noise. It's a very quiet neighborhood. I don't begrudge anyone trying to go forward and better themselves. I don't. Just reduce the number of apartments. That reduces the number of cars. And it gives them adequate space to park. No disrespect to anybody, but I don't think any of you live in the area. So, you know, think of us when you're going to approve or
There's a lot of
disapprove.
noise from cars, I'll tell you that.
I'm sorry?
There's a lot of noise from cars.
You ain't kidding.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir?
Ed Kelly, isn't it possible to rent an apartment with the restriction of one car?
I would think so.
That's all your problem?
You would, because if there's 8 apartments and 10 spots,
I don't necessarily know if that's for us to decide.
I don't believe it is.
Okay, and
That, I think, what we're doing here is they're looking for the special permits and the variances to go forward. Once we say this is acceptable, the fact that the planning board or the site plan review can stipulate, correct me if I'm wrong, the amount of vehicles or amount of vehicles per apartment. I mean, we've said we have, there's less than, it doesn't meet the zoning bylaws. Because the zoning bylaw says 2 per apartment.
Right.
And we are going to say, if we accept this, we could say 1 per apartment. There's 10 spots, you said there's 10 spots. The variance, okay, there's inadequate by our bylaws, but by the same thing, by the permit or the variance, we can say 1 apartment, 1 spot. We could do that.
Okay.
Correct?
For this permit, let's see,
Because it's an insufficient off-street parking. We could limit.
Well, let me just throw out, ultimately, you're gonna have to limit. You have a certain number of units, and you're going to want to rent them, and I assume there will be assigned parking spots. And if you don't have enough parking spots to give each one 2, certain apartments will have 1, certain will have 2, and you'll probably price it accordingly.
That's correct.
That's fair to say. So that's kind of a market solution. And I guess if you price it incorrectly, you're not gonna be able to rent your apartment, right? And I just throw out, these people are gonna have visitors as well. That's part of this puzzle. Again, someone is only gonna pay a certain amount of money for an apartment where they can't have any visitors and they only have 1 parking space, and you'll price it accordingly. So I'm inclined to leave this to the market, assume that you're doing your numbers right, and you know what you're doing, and you can anticipate what's gonna happen when you price these apartments. That's my take on it. I wouldn't be inclined, I do think we could, I think you're correct in approving the special permit for the parking. I guess we could include some wording, but we'd have to do the math, and we wouldn't be able to say which apartment gets which number of
I
spots
wouldn't
and
do
all
that.
that.
She already said they've made provisions for 10 spots. And I think what we can do as a board is accept the fact that, all right, we're gonna give them a variance instead of having, if there's, depending on the apartment load, whether it's 6 or 8, you still have 10 spots, period.
Right.
That's all we can do. That's the only variance we can do.
my only, I mean, harking back to the market and everything, if we did limit that parking, now we're limiting the
No, we're
potential.
not.
Well, sure, I mean, if they only have 10 spots, currently there are,
By our bylaws, they should have somewhere between 12 and 16.
okay.
That's what it says. 2 per, unless it's elderly housing.
Okay.
You want to do elderly housing, we can go one per.
It may be that there's ultimately a combination of both. As I said, until you design it architecturally, you don't know
Understood.
where the mechanicals are gonna be, or the staircase, or what
Oh, I
ADA is
understand.
gonna require,
We're
so.
trying to take a multiple
Right.
variables and nail it to a tree.
So I would request something like, no more than 8 units, no more than 8 residential units, and no less than 10 spaces. Then if I get 11 spaces, that's a bonus, to the project. That's kind of the way I'd like to see it acted, if possible.
And I will add, just being on the train, my train station hat, this is within very close walking distance of the train station. To the extent that we have folks that might normally have 2 cars in an apartment, we might have a commuter taking the train and just 1 car. That's one possibility I'm going to throw out there. That is kind of the goal for our downtown business district.
Let's look at this from a different perspective, all right? We can do this all at once, or we can break it down one at a time. What's your pleasure?
One at a time.
One at a time, okay.
All right.
All right. Let's start with the special permit for insufficient off-street parking. Oh, it's not.
What's on here? I think we should read it.
All right.
I'll do the motion, I'll read it. How about
All right,
that?
go ahead. That's fine.
I move that the ZBA approve special permit for 14 Washington Street, where, okay.
The only question I have to ask is how are they gonna do the demo?
Sorry, hold it.
We can have a discussion after we move the vote. And I'm, okay.
Does that help? Yeah.
I think your motion to grant off-street parking to 10 spots at architectural design review.
Okay, let me throw out a motion. I move that a special permit be issued, allowing a minimum of 10 spots, where a minimum of, okay, don't go any further. I move that we allow a special permit to provide a minimum of 10 spots, period.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, sir?
I just have a question about how they're gonna do the demolition. Is that?
We have no idea.
Because,
We have no idea.
Since the building's right on my property.
Site plan.
Very carefully.
Yeah. Well, not to get off track for a minute, but I watched them up off of Lincoln Street, I think it is, where they're putting that new house in. I mean,
Yes.
yeah. I could open the bathroom window and spit in the guy's yard. I mean, it's there. So, but they're doing a good job building this huge house 5 feet away or 10 feet away from the property line. And I stopped and looked to see what was in the existing home's yard. Nothing. So, the technology exists. All right?
All right, is
That motion carried.
Yep.
All right.
Second motion, I move to, again, for the property address, which is 14 Washington Street, to allow residential use at street level into downtown business district.
Special permit or variance?
This is
That's a
variance.
variance,
Okay.
yeah.
And I second again.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
And the third and last, I move that we approve a special permit, which would allow at 14 Washington, residential use in a commercial building.
Will it still be zoned as a commercial building after it's rehabbed into apartments?
Has to be.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Great.
Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your input. I'll make sure the developer hears it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are we gonna get letters when you guys go to the planning board, so that we can go?
No, you won't.
Why?
It'll be advertised in the newspaper. It may be advertised in the newspaper.
Yeah, maybe, we don't even know if it
We
will.
definitely be on the posting board.
It'll be on the posting board out here, so keep track of the,
So I have to
So
check
every day I
posting
gotta
every day?
come and look at a report, yes.
it's also on the internet.
Yes?
May I take on, Mr. Chair, through you, we have been very close in contact with people on Pleasant Street with our CDBG grant. We have their addresses. I would happily assume the responsibility of helping this project by basically going out to see the numbers all
Okay, great.
around that particular building and sending you out at least a postcard telling you when the meetings are and what's going to be at that particular meeting.
That would be awesome.
It's not.
Thank you.
I read off. Oh, that was his. Was that hers?
Yeah.
Oh, that piece I just gave you back. Had a note on it. This
We'd be happy to do that.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Entertain a motion to close this hearing.
I make a motion to close the 14 Washington Street hearing.
All in favor?
Aye. Oh, there you go, sorry. It's nice.
Yeah, if they put a fence up,
One other thing. Next on our agenda. Where we amended it.
Yes.
Where's those forms?
A home occupation?
Home occupation.
What's going on? What's happening?
Well, what we find, you know what the home occupation is? It's in here. What it says basically, I don't know where the hell home occupation is, but in order for someone, see, residential zones for houses, homes, and people who run a business out of their home need a special permit by our bylaw. And what it also says is the, there we go. Application for a special permit, home occupation. What it is someone who, say for example, makes a living selling stuff on eBay.
Okay.
All right? They work out of their house, his computer. Graphic design artist, works out of his house, same thing. There are stipulations to this permit process. No non-resident employees, no signage in front of the house, no deliveries of supplies and materials other than USPS or FedEx, something like that. I mean, no freight. No customer visits to this premises, no external evidence of a business activity. Okay? So what it means is someone has an office in their home, they might do medical billing online. That's a permit, the special permit for home occupations. Now, it was, here's the form for this. You changed this, didn't you?
I just updated it.
You updated it, okay.
Yeah.
It's basically just this form, date, name, property, map, parcel, and it was a $100 fee for 5 years. So what that means is most of your zoning bylaws are complaint laws. People next to you complain, and code enforcement goes out and looks at it. So if someone complains about Jeremy working on a computer in his house, the zoning officer goes up there and says, "What are you doing?" "I got a permit, says I can do this." So that's all it does. It just gives you permission to run a business from your home. not landscaping,
Not
not
manufacturing,
woodworking,
right.
not when you're doing physical construction work, anything like that, in that home. It's primarily electronic.
Right. It's,
Okay.
it's, you're not producing something that can be.
You're not
touched.
producing something, that's
Right.
absolutely correct.
Right.
So, the previous administrative assistant for the ZBA and the planning board used to issue these. Us as a ZBA grant that authority to the administrative assistant to do this for us, otherwise we'd have a line of people at the desk for these permits. Okay? So what we've talked about doing, Carly's our administrative assistant, she's got to get appointed by the Board of Selectmen to do this for us, to handle this so that we don't have to deal with it. What I would suggest, and I looked at this, it was $100 for 5 years, and it's really nothing more than permission to do this. Now, we have some stacked up back to 2006. Okay? The code enforcement officer is going through checking with all these businesses, these home businesses, to see if they're still in operation. The ones that are, we have to address. The ones that aren't, we file them. But from this point forward, what I'd like to do is, Carly is our administrative assistant, she can do this for us, and I want to change the fee from 100 to 50.
I mean, that's fine with me.
Procedurally though, so the town meeting and the selectmen have made me the zoning administrative assistant, administrator, whatever, by virtue of, in the budget, paying me to do it. They haven't officially appointed me the title yet. I would say procedurally that has to happen. Then
Yes.
you can grant me authority to, but we've been doing it anyway because there's been no one in the office. So Robert's been, if someone was applying for one, Robert will sign off on it. So I would say just continue with that, and then once I'm officially appointed by the board, then you can grant me, you guys grant me authority to issue these on your behalf. Right now, Robert's just doing it because no.
We don't have anybody.
Right.
All right. Could I make a suggestion? Could we simply move to delegate the authority to any employee that Robert chooses?
We can do, yeah, we can do
That's
it.
fine with me.
Yeah, and then once he does it to the board of selectmen, he'll say me, and then we're all
Then
we're all
set.
square.
All right?
Okay. We just want to make sure everybody's on board with it, they know what it was for, and they're okay with the reduction in fees.
Why would you reduce the fees? Which,
We're paying $100 for 5 years for nothing more than permission to do your work. We're charging $100 for someone to give them permission to earn a living. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm looking at a $50 administrator.
you're looking at a $20 a year spread out over 5 years for administrative work by the town.
There is no administrative work. They don't do anything. The applicant fills out the form. We say, okay, there is nothing, John. Zero.
Okay, I
said,
just want to make sure
do
that...
you get a DBA slip? Do you get some kind of right? No, nothing. Zero.
I guess the argument.
You fill out the form and give it to them, and they say, okay, it goes on file upstairs. So there is no return. There's nothing other than whoever made the application paid $100.
Well, it has to get approved, right? I mean, they fill out the application and it has to be approved, right?
And I just
By
asked,
us.
you're not gonna have, so if we didn't have this internal process in place, if I wanna open a livery service and I wanna bring people to the airport, just say, and the company's run out of my house, by the bylaw, I would have to come before this board, so that means it's $165 application fee, plus I have to pay for the ad in the newspaper, plus I have to pay for the abutters to be notified. But what happened in 2008, when the economy crashed, people were working from home, opening home businesses, so there were so many of these. The ZBA said, hey, let the former assistant just administer these for us, and then in 5 years, if they're still in business, which most of them aren't, then they can apply for a full special permit. This is like a provisional special permit.
Or we
Yeah.
can renew it for another 5 years. I mean, if you got a guy, like, there's a guy on my street, he's an illustrator, draws pictures and emails about the guy.
So the purpose of the whole thing is to just make sure that people aren't producing things at home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This piece of paper goes upstairs into the building commissioner's office, because if someone that lives next door to this person complains about the lights being on all night, says, oh, he's doing work out of his house. Okay. He goes, pulls a pile out, says, yep, 14 Williams, yep. He's got a permit to work out of his house.
It's an affidavit.
Basically it is. Yeah. That's
Okay.
what it
That's what
is.
they're doing.
Yeah.
I had just a little uncomfortable thing in the last thing about the fire station thing. Because I'm looking through these and I'm seeing not recommended, but I'm seeing nothing that says why it was not.
Well, that's, yeah.
I mean,
Let's finish this and then I'll talk about that.
Okay, I thought that was done.
No. Are we done with this? We all agree upon it?
Yes.
I would
Okay.
just make a motion to reduce the fee to 50 and to authorize whoever Robert chooses. We'll need a motion for that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I move to reduce the application fee for home occupancy permit from $100 to $50, and also to delegate the authority to approve,
Two issues.
to issue this
Provisional
the
special.
provisional special permit for home occupancy to whichever employee the town administrator chooses.
I second.
All in favor? Yes?
Just a quick discussion. Yeah, and there's an advantage to reducing the fee, but not, if the fee's too high, people would, it's possible they would be discouraged from doing, or just operate in the shadows of.
This is strictly an honor system.
Yeah,
You
right,
realize that?
Right,
Okay.
right, so all the more the fees, I see comfort in seeing the fee is reduced.
I question this fee. It goes only into the general fund. It supports nothing.
It'd be nice if it supported.
Well, yeah,
Oh, right.
it would be. Yes, it would. But
Supported the
it,
administrative
there is no
expenses.
budget line item for it. There is no,
Yeah, it's not like it's an enterprise fund where.
it's nothing. It goes right in it goes right in the general fund. No. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Done. Okay. Now, to your comment,
Well, the other thing is I'm.
there was one dissension for the whole thing for the fire station.
There was by the building inspector, there
That's
was a
right.
dissension, and by someone else who I couldn't read who it was, there was
That was
no
him.
comment.
No, for Bridget, for the other one, right?
That was for the other one, John. That was for the leach field. The
I
first-
thought they were both on the same,
No,
on the last
no.
one.
No, the fire station was disapproved by the building inspector. But we don't know why.
Exactly, and I'm a little uncomfortable with that. I mean,
Now, he's gone through all these meetings.
Right.
Everything that we know, he knows, and he probably knows more. I read what he wrote. I recommend this is not approved. Why? Give me something to bite on other than,
so I guess that begs the question, should we go through this stuff in time to contact him and ask what's up with that?
he knew it was on the table tonight.
He could have shown up.
He could have, and you know what, honestly, I will definitely take part blame, because I look at them when they come in, because they come to me. But we had 6 public hearings, I mean, I had 6 sets of these, and I just kind of breezed through them, and I caught it today, and he's not in today. So I asked Robert, Robert was scheduled day off today, so I actually contacted him and said, why would we disapprove, or recommend
No.
disapproval? And he said, no clue. But I was talking to David, and he usually will say why. This is not usual, that if he usually, he'll say no, but he'll tell us why.
Right.
I don't know.
It is a
why.
little unusual.
So
I can follow
I looked at this earlier, John. I looked at, okay, I looked at it going, wait a minute. The building commissioner said no? Why? No answer. No, none whatsoever that we could see. None.
Well, in the same one, I got the no comment on this one. And this one.
Yeah, but who's the two?
That's conservation.
Conservation.
Yeah.
Just, I will, he's his job is to enforce the building code and the zoning bylaw. And what we did in regards to the fire station is remarkable. And the backstory is significant. Again, we have a historic structure that needs some wiggle room in the zoning bylaw in order to be preserved under the purchase and sale agreement. Now, and then the tenants, the 3 variances were significant. We have a downtown business district which is not supposed to have residential on the first floor. Nope, that's a no. We have a downtown business district that's not supposed to have residential in the commercial building. Nope. And then we have, as was,
parking problem.
It's definitely a parking issue, and no one here denies that there's a commuter rail parking problem. There's a commuter parking problem, I would say, downtown. I don't think we have a parking problem. We have a commuter parking problem. From his perspective, being an engineer, I don't know what his background is, but he says, bylaw says this. There's a good reason for it, and we shouldn't. We should have a really high bar to jump over in approving variances. And in my mind, I think we did, just because we want to save the firehouse, and that's the plan that, again, there's a lot of work behind the scenes, board of selectmen, town meeting, people who are interested, going to meetings. I
think the limitations that we put on the fire station will allow it to proceed forward.
Yeah.
The things that, the first floor housing, this was, when it went out for an RFP, this was part of the selling point for the building and the retention of the building facade. Right? We wanted to keep it this way. We want it to stay looking like this. And they're going to enhance it. They're going to clean it up, make it look nice, and it's going to be apartments. So I understand the economics behind it. I mean, if you haven't got 6 apartments, you have X amount of income, which doesn't offset the cost of the building or whatever your payback, your RFI is. So they have to have a certain amount of people in that place. The fact that we put a limitation on the parking only restricts them to a point. What it does is it forces them in the position where they have to address it with the people who are there. Okay, you got 1 parking spot. Wherever else you park, you're on your own. But the fact of the matter is, our code says you got to have X amount of spots, and you don't have X amount of spots. So do we allow them to go forward? And I think it would be better to allow them to go forward into the next stage, where it goes to site plan review, where the site plan review can say, hey, wait a minute, you can't do this. You have to have this, this, or this. We've already said 10 spots minimum.
Well, I agree with all that, and
I don't know why you turned it down. I have no idea.
I was very happy they brought up the parking thing, because I'm sitting here thinking, we have winter ban parking. What are they going to do with that? Yeah. So I'm glad that was addressed. But on the other hand, I would just feel comfortable that if people who are knowledgeable and experienced in the field have reservations, they should express them and just say,
I agree.
More than just, I disapprove. Because then I feel like, well, maybe there's something I'm missing.
Yeah.
But they don't tell me what it is.
No. And I think at the end of the day, Gabe technically works with Board of Selectmen and us, so we can pass that feedback back through Carly.
I will make sure he knows tomorrow.
Next time Gabe will
And I meant to ask him.
write some more.
Well, I understand, but just,
It's a mute point now.
Yeah.
yeah, it is, but I just felt a little
But for
uncomfortable.
future reference,
I just felt
why did you do
uncomfortable
that?
because this is somebody that's is in the loop.
Yeah.
And there may be some specific thing that I'm unaware of. So if there's a legit reason that you're going to say no, then I'd like to know what it is.
Absolutely.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, when the leach field got turned down, she said why. It needs to come to the Conservation Commission for further work.
I can actually revise that form too, to say, it's kind of weird, like approve, disapprove. That should be tweaked a little, like.
It is a little weird.
Yeah, so I could say, no issues, not, I mean.
Approve with comment.
Approve with comment, exactly. If you don't approve, why? I can say, please state reason.
Right.
I can retweak that, and that's just an informal
Yeah.
process.
Good.
I can do that. I'll make a note.
All right. One last item. Approval of meeting minutes from last time? Carly said you went through them.
I went through them, did I make any changes?
Just quick, no, and you did, but I resent them out.
Okay, great. So I'm fine with them.
Motion?
I move to, what's the date on it?
June 17th.
Yeah.
To approve the meeting minutes of June 7th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You weren't here. Yeah, that's one of the ones you forgot.
You can still vote on them.
Sure.
Yeah, you can.
I'm sure.
I too, because I read them, so.
There you go.
So I didn't print out the hard copy, but Krista wasn't here.
She's not here.
Right, so if you could sign them
You
as
could sign
chair, next time you come in, I'll print them for you.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
That being said, anybody make a motion in the meeting?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.